Hi everyone, this is Mr. Green on Master Classroom with Nigel Green. We are going to look at our first video for the year, for 2025, and we are going to start off with a grade 10 class test that was written sometime recently in the past week or so. And we are going to look at the solutions to all of those questions, all the way to question 5. So we'll try to keep this as short as possible. So welcome grade 10s if you're grade 10, and if you are in my class, welcome grade 10 learners. And if you are joining us randomly from wherever, welcome to the channel. And I hope that this video adds value to your learning. So let's get straight into it. So we'll start with question 1. And the instruction is that we need to say whether the following numbers are rational or irrational. And those numbers are, of course, here from 1.1 to 1.5. So the first number is the square root of 20. And we know that if we take the square root of 20, the answer is, of course, an irrational number. This decimal is, of course, non-recurring. There's no pattern, and it would continue on forever if our screen was a forever screen, or if it lasted forever, or if it could go on forever. So the number 20, of course, is not a perfect square, and it, of course, will then not give us a rational answer. So the first one would be irrational. 1.2, the square root of 9, of course, is equal to 3, which is a rational number, so that is pretty straightforward. Rational. 1.3, the cube root of 9. So the answer, of course, will be another non-recurring, non-terminating decimal. So if we can just look at the cube root of 9, and I can see that that is a decimal number that has no pattern and it will never end. Non-terminating, so that would be irrational. I don't need to write down the decimal. That is just to show you that it is irrational. 1.4, we have the cube root of 8, and the cube root of 8, of course, is 2, and that obviously is rational. 1.5, the square root of 1. Now here, some of you in the test, you for some reason assume that this must be irrational. Not sure why, but the square root of 1 is 1, because 1 is a perfect square. If you look at the set or the list of squares that you've been taught thus far, the list of squares start at 1. So square roots, or squares rather, start at 1. If I could just write them down, it would be just the first couple. It would be 1, it would be 4, it would be 9, it would be 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, and so forth. Point being here that the number 1 is a perfect square, and of course the answer would be 1. So square root of 1 is 1, and 1 is rational. So 1 is rational. So if you look at what we've done in this question, just to verify our answer, we simply needed to check if the root, the square root or the cube root, could be calculated and give us a natural number or a whole number. And in those cases, of course, if we get something like this, as you see on the screen now, then we know that the answer is irrational. If we had to take, of course, the square root of 9, we don't need to calculate that. We know what the square root of 9 is. It's 3, so that's rational. If I look at the square root of 1, the answer is a rational number. It's a natural number, it's a whole number, so that is rational. As soon as I get like something like the cube root of 9, if I get something like the cube root of 9, the answer, of course, is what you see on the screen now, and that is, of course, not rational.